Okay, this is a practice appraisal that we did, and I want to actually run through the solution. And what I realized is this is the worst appraisal ever on account of the fact that this graph is about a bazillion times too small, so we're not going to use it. Instead, I've provided this gigantic graph right here that we're going to actually draw our little graph on. So if you notice, the first 6 seconds we're going at 75 meters per second. And let's be clear, that means from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, etc., all the way up to 6 seconds, I'm covering 75 meters each second, and that's what I'm going to put in my graph. So at 1 second, I'm at 75 meters. At 2 seconds, I'll make it all the way out to 150. 3 seconds, I'll be at 225. 4 seconds at 300. 5, I'll be at 375. And at 6 seconds, I'll be at 450 meters. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and connect my line there in typical student fashion. A nice, perfectly drawn straight line. And then, I'm sorry, I'm very tired, everybody. And then from 6 to 10 seconds, I'm going at 25 meters per second. So 25, 50, 75, 100. I actually make it all the way up to 550 in those 4 seconds. Oh, goody. And then from 10 to 14 seconds, I'll be at rest. Like that. A nice flat line for rest. Oh, goody. And now we're going to go backwards at 50 meters per second for the next 6 seconds. So 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300, and I still run out of space, so I do wind up at the 250 meter mark here, which is pretty crazy. Wow, that is quite the graph. Date, by the way. All right. So a couple of things I wanted to eliminate. We're going to forget about the velocity and the speed. I do want to talk about distance and displacement. So just to be clear, distance is how far I covered. So in this case, I go from 0, and you know what? Let me do a different color here. We'll choose Fern. So 0 to 450. That's 450 right there. And then here, there's another 100. And then going backwards here, when I actually measure that, oh, that's terrible. 100. And then going back this way, this is another 300. So my total distance ends up being 850 meters. Now, displacement, that's where did I end up from where I started. So I ended up at 250, and I started at 0. Because for displacement, you take your final position and you subtract off where you started from. So that's how I get displacement. I think that's a good place to stop for the first video, and for the second video, I'm going to actually do the motion map.